Hello, I'm Chris Coltrane and this is episode 5 of the News for Idiots, for people who wish they knew what was happening in the world but can't be bothered to put the time in. Thank you as always for your donations. You're so kind to help me pay my wages. I don't have any adverts on here and your donations literally pay me to stay alive. So if you've not donated yet, chriscoltrane.co.uk/donate, and just remember, every penny you give me is a penny that Donald Trump doesn't have. Now, you may have heard on the grown-up news that last Monday, January 18th, was Blue Monday, the most depressing day of the year. Or at least you may have heard people claiming it was, because in actual fact, and this will be surprising to you, it was complete and utter fucking bollocks. I don't understand how there are still people in the world who think that this is a thing. It's been so widely debunked that even Johnny McAlways has his head in the ground, who never reads newspapers or ever goes online or meets anyone or ever does anything, ever, even he knows the story behind it. Blue Monday was invented in 2005 by PR agency Porto Novelli for Sky Travel, who literally made it up so the newspapers would give them free advertising by running news stories that say things like, "Today is the most depressing day of the year," according to a bullshit press release by Sky Travel. A representative from Sky Travel said, "You should go to another country this week where it's warm, or where the journalists can be bothered to do a 5-second internet search just to double check that it's not pretend." So how did they decide on this date? Well, the short answer is they pulled it out their arse. The long answer is they paid a scientist called Dr. Cliff Arnold to claim he'd created an equation that looks like maths to anyone that doesn't know how to count. Now, this equation has gone through a few revisions over time. This is the most recent one here, where these variables mean, and this is absolutely true, W equals weather, D equals debt, small d equals salary, T equals time since Christmas, Q equals time since failing our New Year's resolutions, M equals low motivational levels, and NA equals the feeling of a need to take action. Now, I'm no mathematician, but W equals weather. What? Darling, what's the weather like today? 3. And what was this one here? The feeling of a need to take action. What? I assume that the bigger the number is, the better? Maybe it's the amount of dopamine in our bodies in grams. Don't do cocaine, kids. Not because it's illegal, not because it's dangerous, no, but because you should have respect for maths. In a way, maybe this is the purest maths, boiling down an emotion into pure quantity. My dream is that all our emotions one day are just turned into numbers, if only to make it easier for the robots to have sympathy with us when they inevitably try to overthrow us. I don't know why they stopped there. There's so many more variables to add in. What about WA for the amount of wanks you have to do every day just to fight off the loneliness of winter? Or MC for the amount of Maltesers I have to comfort eat to get my way through Christmas without Uncle Jerry telling me to get a proper job? Shut up, Jerry, this is a proper job. Shut up, people give me compliments online. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Now, the incredible journalist Nick Davis wrote this book, Flat Earth News, in which he coined the phrase churnalism, which is when a company writes a press release, often containing actual lies, straight from the cow's anus, or a survey that they'd just made up. They send it to journalists, they copy it, they paste it, and they churn out articles like so much rotten butter. In fact, did you know that in Britain today, there's only 1,500 people working as journalists, and 750,000 people working in PR? Admittedly, I made those numbers up, but still, that's a pretty damning indictment of our newspaper industry. Now, if a news channel covered Blue Monday like it was genuine factual news, you'd really think less of them, wouldn't you? You'd probably wonder whether their lack of ability to Google something for fact-checking purposes might, maybe, bring into question their entire journalistic integrity. Surely, you would have to be a real fucking garbage news channel to report something as fact that has been debunked every single year for the past 10 years. Imagine how utterly fucking lacking in ethics, judgment and integrity you would have to be to report as fact a story that everyone knows is wrong. Can you see where this is going?
Now, today is officially the most depressing day of the year.
Okay, let's just stop here to appreciate the fact that Sky News are covering, as fact, a story that was literally made up and invented by Sky Travel. That's incredible. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but that's pretty damn convenient for Murdoch, isn't it? I half expect the next story that they're going to report to be, "It was reported today that The Sun is the nation's favourite newspaper, according to a story by The Sun." Anyway, all that aside, what do these two Sky News journalists, who remember are journalists in real life, what do they have to say?
Now, today is officially the most depressing day of the year.
No, it isn't.
Dubbed by researchers Blue Monday.
No, dubbed by marketing people.
For a reasons including debt, loneliness, seasonal affective disorder.
And of course, the most important reason, getting people to buy holidays.
Said to be giving commuters, amongst others, the blues.
Why are you suddenly talking about commuters? This piece makes no sense. I've not edited anything out of this. This is the full report so far. They've literally just given an example of something that might make you sad. Quite frankly, if they're just making stuff up, I'm surprised Sky News haven't found a way to blame Blue Monday on Jeremy Corbyn yet. We've worked out today that the saddest day of the year is today, thanks to this equation, where JC equals the existence of Jeremy Corbyn, BL equals how much Jeremy Corbyn wishes Bin Laden was still alive, and W, which is how much Jeremy Corbyn hates the West.
Where are you saddest? Manchester and Leeds, apparently. They're the cities suffering the worst.
Of course, there is one more place where you'd be the saddest, and that is literally anywhere with a TV tuned to Sky News. And again, where are you getting that from? I love how she says, Manchester and Leeds, apparently. What do you mean, apparently? What does that even mean? It's like, even if that was true, what are you supposed to do with that information? Like, oh, Manchester's the saddest place. All right, shall I send them a hamper? Hello, is that the Pizza Shack? Yeah, can I order 2.5 million large pizzas for Manchester, please? Yeah, just to cheer them up, really. Apparently they're a bit sad. And then, just as you think this piece can't get any worse, something amazing happens. The Sky News anchors almost have a moment of awakening, which they immediately shrug off.
How do they make these assertions, one wonders?
Well, we do wonder, but we put them on the telly, so
Yep.
There we are. We're complicit.
What do you mean? Where do they get these assertions from? Shouldn't you be asking these questions before you report it? You're a fucking journalist. You're supposed to be fact-checking the things you say. If you don't know where information comes from, that's not news, that's garbage. Well, where do they get these numbers from? I suppose it doesn't matter, does it? It's not like I'm on national television. God damn it, this shit's important. You're not supposed to be trash TV, you're not supposed to be entertainment, you're supposed to be a proper news channel for grown-ups. When you run stuff like this, you prove to us that you can't be trusted. This is basic journalism. Look, we can all agree that it's funny that a story was made up by Sky Travel and then was reported by Sky News. That is objectively brilliant. What a perfect example of how utterly awful Sky News is. I mean, not that we needed it.
Final question, can I just ask you very quickly? Do you always believe what you say, or are you a clever marketeer?
No, I believe what I say. Have a good time.
Thank you.
Nice one there, yeah. Thanks to Kay Burley for holding power to account and getting the answers we need. And this Sky News, Sky Travel thing, it's almost tempting to think that this is a deliberate cross-brand stunt by the Sky channels for promotion, but I don't think it is. I think it's just sloppy journalism by adults who, frankly, should know better. A little bit like someone who's on a diet who says to themselves, well, what's the harm in one cookie? Except that they say that to themselves 500 times a day. That analogy there brought to you by me in my real life. But regardless of all this, the fact is that all of this Blue Monday debunking is easily available on the Wikipedia entry for Blue Monday, which is the first fucking hit for a Google search for Blue Monday. What's your excuse? But you know what? Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe this is just a blip in otherwise impeccable news coverage. Maybe I'm just cherry-picking one example of terrible news on an otherwise reasonable channel. Come on, Sky News, make your next story that you show us a big, important one. Give us something to show us that you are a news channel of honour. Yeah? What's next? What's the story that you choose to talk about immediately afterwards?
Now, to soften those Monday blues, let us bring you the story of an abandoned baby rhino who enjoys having good night. Good night.
Good night stories.
Thank you.
Thought they'd be reading him the Jungle Book.
Oh, you're good.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, they had to cover this, didn't they? I mean, how else were they going to show us the sadness in his eyes? Look, Sky, you don't need to give us an Anne Finley story at the end of the news. We don't need light relief. If I needed light relief, I'd go on PornTube and choose my own happiness. Also, don't try to compete with YouTube for cute animals. You will not win. Look, cute animals are brilliant, of course they are, but they're not news. We so desperately need journalists that break stories and hold power to account, and instead we get this. I mean, what is the point in Sky showing us a cute animal? It's not even a story of the plight of rhinos, it's just, hey, here's a rhino. Again, you feel like a conspiracy theorist for saying that the media's trying to distract you from the real news, but on a day of refugees on the run in the cold, the VIP paedophile inquiry, Iran, junior doctors, student grants being abolished, climate change, Syria, Boko Haram, South Africa's droughts, Cameron persecuting Muslim women who can't speak English, Theresa May saying you can't stay in this country unless you earn £35,000 a year, you're showing us a fucking rhino. Fuck this channel, man. Sky News is a garbage channel for morons. Not idiots like you and me, morons. This channel has no value. It's abysmal. News detritus. You come away from Sky News more stupid than you did when you started watching it. The news isn't supposed to make you dumber. This is the exact opposite of news. It's anti-news. It's like a fucking black hole of news, sucking in facts that dare to cross it and never letting them out. The most annoying thing is that despite my angry rant, Sky News isn't all bad. Don't be thinking it's like the UK Fox, like some people do, because it's not. It genuinely has great moments. Like once I was watching their coverage of the refugee crisis, and this happened.
So they often come in freezing like this, yeah?
They're all coming in freezing, he's got no shoes, you can see he's shivering, and look at him, lost his even colour, subhanallah, looking for his mother now. We need more volunteers here, basically.
It's impossible, really, not to help. We came across this group of 47, lost in the mountains.
Well, let me take the little ones to
Okay.
camp and say you're here.
Okay.
But keep walking.
We will stay here.
Keep walking.
Okay.
Keep walking.
Okay. We will keep walking.
It's a very
but
bad
slowly.
road.
Fucking hell, that's incredible. That Sky News journalist just helped refugees in need. If that was Fox News, the journalist would have got the kids into a van and driven them off a cliff. This guy actually helped them. It's like there's all these on-the-ground reporters who are just being let down by a fundamentally mediocre studio team. And that's the saddest thing about it. You almost feel like it could be good. Fox News will never be good, but this could be, and that's just disappointing. Look, you may say that Blue Monday gets the press talking about mental health issues at least, but mental health is a serious issue in its own right. You shouldn't need a fake day to piggyback off of to get the news to take mental health seriously. Newspapers and TV news should be mature enough to cover a story for no reason other than because it's fucking important. This is the definition of dumbing down. It dilutes people's understanding of math, their trust in science, and their faith in the ability of news just to tell them the facts. And when all's said and done, isn't that the most depressing thing of all? So that's it. Thank you so much for watching as always. I'm so grateful that you gave it a go. I turn comments off because you know as well as I do that YouTube comments are terrible. But I'd love you to get in contact. Chris@chriscoltrane.com. Also, I want to give a big shout out to all the people who have donated for this through Patreon. And that is Mike Sheldon, Kirsty Bell, Chris Scarf, Robin Hughes, Peter Wood, and 2 anonymous donators as well. If you want to support this show, go to chriscoltrane.co.uk/donate and pay what you think it's worth. You can do PayPal, Patreon, or a bank transfer if you like as well. That's all from me. I will see you next time with episode 6. Oh, and of course, like it and share it if you liked it, because I have no money for marketing. So if you can tell people if you've liked it, I'd like that. I'd like that a lot. Thank you very much. See you next time. Cheers.